You're a stay-at-home mom of two and a stepmom of a teenager, right?
Yes, sir.
And your husband, you say, is not really engaged with the parenting. He's always outside doing different things.
Right. He works all the time. So when he has been home, he's just so used to working, and he wants to stay busy because he's not used to, just like I said, not working.
Uh-huh. Now, would you say that your parenting has kind of defaulted to a management by intimidation strategy?
Yes, sir.
That's your ass popper?
Yes, sir. That's obviously a last resort, and it's just kind of a scare tactic. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But when all else fails, you just try to start, you're kind of like grasping at straws, like, what do you do? Because it just gets so much, and, like, what do you do?
Let's go back pre-pandemic. What was your parenting strategy, style? What were you like before this happened?
I wasn't as on edge. I didn't have to raise my voice as much. I was a little bit calmer. Obviously, we had routines. Like I said, I just wasn't stressed.
If that's true, then why did you have a back scratcher labeled Mama's ass popper?
It was, sometimes they just cut up a whole lot. It wasn't near as often as it is now. And so it was just really just a last resort because, like I said, I never had to use it because.
But still, it wasn't calm.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm just trying to, I want to help you with what the situation is. I have to know what it is. And you had this weapon that you threatened with, and I'm not saying you're abusing your children. That's not my suggestion. This was an intimidation tactic. This was a last resort where you would threaten them.
Right.
And in fact, they've hidden all of your wooden spoons, correct?
They have before, yes, sir.
Okay, and that was all before the pandemic.
Right.
Okay, that's my point. And let me tell you why I'm bringing that up. Because, see, I believe crises don't create personalities. They don't create heroes. They don't create a certain way of doing things. I think what they do is magnify and reveal situations as they really are. And what I'm hearing now is that you were having to threaten these kids to get them to do what they needed to do before, and to the point that they had already hidden all of your wooden spoons so you couldn't get to them. And now you have this thing that you call Mama's ass popper, and you've had to hide it up high so they can't get to it to hide it. So that was true before the pandemic. So what the pandemic has done is just magnify this situation, right?
Right, because like they are kids and they would bicker like on the weekends, and but it was, like I said, it was not near as often. I mean, like I said, it was just one of those things to where, a last resort, and like I said, I hardly ever had to do it, but I did have it.
Would you consider yourself highly reactive?
Somewhat. Stop. Sorry.
That's okay.
Not. I don't think I overreact, but I do think I am a little bit more expressive now with the pandemic.
Well, the reason I ask is because I wrote down some of your language, and your language is, you said, this is an absolute nightmare. I'm completely stressed. Worst thing ever. I'm at my breaking point.
Right.
That's pretty catastrophic language. Would you agree?
Right, because I mean, literally, I go to bed sometimes, and I'm just, because this is the new normal, and I'm not used to this. I used to go to bed, not feeling guilty, not feel like I had completely failed as a parent, because now it's just, I'm kind of just at my wit's end, and I'm not losing my mind, but I'm just, like I said, this is the new normal for me. And when it's just 24/7, they're coming everywhere. You hear toys, you hear hollering. They used to go to school 9 to 2, and so I got kind of me time. I don't have that anymore, and so I do feel really guilty because I do have to fuss at them. And anytime I have to say, "Okay, I'm going to get the ass popper," which I've never used, it's just a scare tactic. It's just hard.